We are going to be taking the Michigan State Spartans and bringing them back to glory within the Big Ten and eventually to win a national championship. I'm excited to start a Dynasty series on my channel, starting with Michigan State. I know most other rebuilds are usually in a full video format, but I thought it'd be fun to do a episode-based series where each video is going to be one season. So for today's video, we're going to start up the Dynasty and also play through the first season. I think also with this format, it'll allow me to kind of go a little bit more in depth in my process, who I'm recruiting, give you guys more of an update if you're trying to follow along or try to do a Dynasty on your own. We're going to be using the recruiter for our head coach, trying to keep things as realistic as possible. Jonathan Smith as our head coach, taking over his first year at Michigan State. The alma mater, Michigan State, is true for myself, which is the reason why I'm starting up this rebuild, as well as keeping the pipeline at Michigan and boosting up our offensive aggressiveness. As you can see in the 2010s, that's where we're trying to be. Back in Rose Bowls, Big Ten championships, and hopefully as well another national championship. And obviously in the last couple of years, the big 2021 year I got to experience, which was amazing, but then also the last couple of years have not been good with a 5-7 and 4-8 season. So we're going to be trying to bump that up and get back to what it was in the 2010s and regain Michigan State's standing in the Big Ten. Now, I've also done one of these on my own. I actually had coach firing on, and we had 2 bad seasons, and I actually got fired. So we turned that off for the time being, just for the sake of this series, so I can continue doing it. But the first couple years are rough. We have a lot of players usually transfer out, and we're kind of stuck with what we're going to be recruiting, because what we have right now is really not a super great program, and there's not that I can do in year 1. So year 2, hopefully we can get a good recruiting class this first year that we can carry over. Looking at the roster, we obviously don't have a ton to work with here. We've got a lot of low 80s and a couple high ones, being our center, who is a senior, so we're going to be losing our best player after this year. Jack Velling, who obviously is our best player beyond that, another tight end. We've got Nate Carter, who's here for at least another year. We've got Aiden Childs as our quarterback. Now, at the moment, his deal breaker is playing style, which isn't necessarily going to fit. So that definitely is something to keep note of. He might be transferring out, and we really don't have much backup, so we might need to go for a quarterback here to kind of be behind Aiden Childs. Receivers, we've got a decent amount of depth and numbers, but obviously not super high overall, so I think we really want to focus on a few receivers here. Offensive line is not great, obviously, beyond the center, just a lot of kind of low to mid 70s. Hoping some of these guys, I know Ramil could be really good and has got some decent kind of physical boosts and attributes, so we might be able to keep some of those guys, but also bring in some new high overall ones. Same on the defensive line, mainly just high 70s. Linebackers are pretty decent. We've got a few decent things. Cornerbacks is really interesting. We don't have anything super high overall, but we've got a lot of players and some sophomores, obviously a couple seniors that are going to be out after this year, being our top 2 in the 80s, but we've got a lot of cornerbacks. Safeties, 82, 75, so we've got some options, but we probably want to get a few more. Kicker, punter are fine for now. So essentially, we need to buff out the whole team. And that's going to start with our prospect list. It's starting off with a recommended page here, and a lot of these players are going to be players that are highly interested in your program. Obviously, some of these are 4s and 3s. As you can see, we've got pretty good ratings in some areas, but our pro potential is a pretty big issue. And with this big issue, a lot of the big 5-star players are going to lock us out and be a deal breaker, so we can't. So a lot of these players are going to be near proximity to us, so a lot of them Michigan, Ohio, and a few Illinois guys. So we're going to be kind of focusing on those to start, and hopefully once we build up the program, we can start going after some others as well. As you can see, we actually have a few 5-stars that are somewhat interested, especially this free safety, Mitch Shidu. What an awful name. We're going to be fighting with a lot of teams for him, but we are currently 2nd, so we definitely want to see if we can focus on him to see if he's going to want to come to the school. This D tackle has us 5th. I doubt we're going to get him, but we'll put him on the list and we'll start scouting him. As you can see, 4 stars, there are a lot of different options and a lot of players that are going to be interested in us. And a lot of these, because of the interest, this is where we're going to get our top prospects because they're in the state of Michigan. With Michigan State in this off-season week 0 type thing, I have 750 recruiting hours to use, and obviously you can't do much beyond scout these players and offer some scholarships. Scouting is important because it kind of helps reveal what these players' true stats are and if they're going to be good players or not. For example, this is a 5-star Trevor Singleton. He was 5th on our interest list. Obviously, he's gaining a ton of interest from a lot of teams, being a 5-star and one of the top prospects in the class. But as you can see, he got a red gem, which means he is going to be a 4-star. If you get a red gem, it means they are 1-star, essentially, below what they are. And if you get a green gem, that they're going to be 1-star higher. So a 4-star would be a 5-star. In this case, Trevor Singleton is actually a 4-star. And because he's garnering 5-star attention, we don't want anything to do with that. We're not going to win that, and we probably don't want to win that because he's not going to be what we're looking for. As you can see, Jamerson Simons, who's a 4-star and is actually second on our list right now. We're second on his list for top schools. He's a green gem. So this 4-star player is actually a 5-star. He's an elusive back. He's an athlete. This is a really, really good player that we want to try to go after. Let's go. Major Small. I was kind of hoping he'd be good. We're kind of low on the list right now, but I want to try to get Major Small. I've used up all of the hours for this week, and I want to kind of run you through what I did. As mentioned, most of these guys are going to be 4-stars minus a couple 3s. We had a couple gems here with the Major Small running back, Jamerson Simons, who ends up being an elusive back, so another running back. We're really trying to focus on running back here, considering Nate Carter could transfer out. We'll have to see what happens or go to the league. We got a right guard here. We got a right end, and we got a couple quarterback options in BJ Hepburn and Chase Thrash. This guy's an athletic build. And then obviously we've got a bunch of 4-stars. And what I did is I just offered scholarships to all these guys, try to get on their radar as soon as possible, try to earn an edge. And what I'll do once I sim this week is we'll see where we stand with everybody, and we can decide if we want to add more 4-stars, add more 3-stars, start scouting more of those guys. As you can see, it's gonna show each week with some of our team prestige stuff of players that are at risk of transfer. As you can see, Aiden Childs, super high. Jack Velling, super high. Some of our best players, super high. So we're going to have to keep an eye on that for recruiting. Looking through, because we went for a lot of really, really good players, we're in super tight races with a lot of teams for a lot of players. As you can see, mainly with the offers, what's boosting up all these other teams. You can see, like, we are in tight races for all of these players pretty much, and that's going to be expected with good 4-star or 3-star gem players. As you can see, we're just in tight races. We're in the top for a lot of these players. There's a couple we're going to have to work for, but we're in the top 3 for literally all of these players that we're after. Now, I'm sure we're not going to get all of them. That's not how this works. Obviously, with 4-stars, I'm just going after those to start. But we need to kind of probably pick and choose which ones we want to put some time and effort into, which ones we don't think we're going to win, so we can start focusing on other 4-stars or start getting 3-stars. What I do with a lot of these players, and I think you probably see this everywhere, is I'm sending the house for most of these guys that I'm going to be looking to get for sure. Major Small is going to be one of them. We're still in a tight race, but I really want to see if I can get this player. And there's a couple, obviously, that we really want as well. I don't know if I love what's going on right now, but I'll just kind of show you. I gave some recruiting hours to really our top 10, putting in Send the House, and we'll have to see where we're at on all of them after this week, but we might have to pull off on a few of them. I went through and scouted a few extra 3-stars that had us high on the list, gave a couple contracts. I know their 3-stars are going to be easier to get down the road. We just want to try to get a couple 4-stars early if we can, so I want to see where we're at after this week. As you can see, for some of these guys, we're doing really, really well. We might be losing out on Major Small here. We're in second place with Ohio State and West Virginia kind of behind. We're way ahead right now on Jamerson Simons, who is still a really, really good option. We're up on some of these guys pretty big, but we have a couple behind leads on some of the quarterbacks and some of the 5-stars as well. We're actually pretty uptight for Shidu still, and we're up there for Kuberski, although Ohio State has made a pretty strong pitch, obviously. Spending the rest of these hours just recruiting guys, some of the 3-stars that we might be wanting in the future, like Alani Gold, who is actually going to turn out to be a 4-star player. Also, we have our first game this week. I'm going to be simming probably every game. I think the best way to do this is to sim. I think if you're playing the games, I don't know, something to me, and especially in offline, it doesn't work too well. So most of the time I'm going to be simming, maybe minus some bigger games down the road. But for now, especially with these early years, these games are not going to go great. We're not going to have a great season, so I'm not going to worry about playing the games. As you can see, playing for Florida Atlantic, we lost. So bad start, obviously, but this is what we're going to expect. We could be falling a bit behind here on Major Small. We've got Jamerson Simons. We still got the lead on. Still got a lead on Ray Brewer here, a good right guard. Huge lead on Charles Matthews, so that leads me to believe that we're probably going to be able to get him. We also have a massive lead here on BJ Hepburn, but as you can see, we're falling behind on Chase Thrash. So what I'm actually going to do here is just get rid of him. I think we're going to need these crucial hours, and if we're already way ahead on a quarterback, I think unless something crazy happens, we're probably going to be able to get B.J. Hepburn. We're actually still in the lead for Kuberski, who's a 5-star as well, so we can be pretty happy about that. In the lead for Everett, and pretty close here on Shane Walters. As some of these guys announce their top 5 schools, which most of these guys that I have on the list are, you'll see on the right that they have different motivations, and their interests need to line up with the motivations, and scouting them is going to help reveal them. For example, with B.J. Hepburn here, because we have the 3 check marks, we know what his 3 main interests are. So what we can do is we take off Send the House, and we can do a hard sell. With this hard sell, what you have to do is match up the specific interests to that player. This is going to give you, I believe, like really the most influence. Obviously, you can add some other things as well if I wanted to continue, but we're going to put 40 on him. I'm still pretty confident that we're going to get B.J. Hepburn here. We're actually in the lead for Shidu right now, which would be huge to get a 5-star, and we're still in the lead for Kuberski. I doubt we're going to get the 5 stars, and we're still in good running and almost first place for just about every single major prospect that we're going after right now. As you can see here, we got a lot of players at risk for transfer because we're not winning games. We're 0-3, a really bad start, but this is to be expected. A quarter of the way through the season, we've gotten our first win against Boston College, but a nearly impossible schedule coming up, playing number 1 Ohio State, number 3 Oregon, and number 2 Michigan. As much as I hate to do it, we're going to have to let go of Major Small. There's too many other teams interested in gaining and putting in visits for this player. I still have Simons, with not much competition, so I'm really going to put in a lot of effort and try to get Jamerson Simons. But we do need the recruiting hours, and I don't think we're going to win the battle for Major Small. I think we're going to put some time into trying to get Kuberski here. We have a bigger lead on him here. I'm going to leave Shidu for now, but I think we're probably not going to end up getting him. Kuberski is probably our best bet. I'm going to leave him for now, but not put anything more into him. We're going to be in some tight races for some players, including Jamerson Simons, so we're going to have to schedule a visit for him. We're in the lead for Brewer. We're in the lead for Matthews, but once again, some of these are probably going to be close. We got in the top 3, but we're probably going to be really tough for that. We have a visit scheduled for Kuberski, so I think we have 120 hours left. I think what I want to do is schedule a couple visits for some really important players. I'm actually going to remove him right now. I don't think we're going to get Shidu, so we're going to drop out of the race for him. Hepburn might be really, really important, and I think Simons is important. So let's schedule some visits. I think Matthews is going to end up being really important here, so let's see what we can do for a visit for him. Maybe we send him to the Iowa game. Maybe we can get lucky with an Iowa win. Maybe that's one that we look for here. I mean, I think we just need to spend these on getting some of these top guys. Our first commit is Jamerson Simons. I was worried about the running back, but we got one. Technically a 5-star running back. Now, it's probably not super important. Charles Matthews is going to make it to the squad as well. A couple of huge commits there. 2 4-star and a 5-star gems. I was worried a little bit about some of those guys. It looks like we're really close to getting Hepburn too, so I'm actually not too worried about not doing the visit here. Not that I can anyway still, but I think we're probably going to get him. We're close on Brewer, although we don't have a visit scheduled, so if we really wanted to do that, we could do a visit, but I'm not extremely worried since that's week 14 anyways. I think we're already in the top 3. Kuberski is super close, but this is a big game with the Iowa game after this bye week. Obviously, things can change, but we're in the top 3 already, and we are in the lead, but Ohio State is gaining. We're in the lead for Everett here, but once again, that's close, so maybe this is a good one that we want to do a visit for. Maybe I'm going to try to do that right now. Let's do the Iowa game as well. Not too much for a loss if possible. Let's do that. I think that's going to be important here, and we're going to do proximity to home. We'll do a family visit. We're also still in the lead for Devin Muhammad here, which is looking good. And then our final 4-star that we're looking at right now is Emmanuel Ebukam. B.J. Hepburn, the quarterback, the 3-star bump to a 4-star is ours, as well as Frederick Spitz. Teddy Rabb looks like he's going to be a big piece. Potentially, it's a 3-star into a 4-star, and we are way ahead, the only team that's even offered. So I think it's fair to say that we're probably going to be able to get him. Kuberski, so close. I think he's at his top 3, but Ohio State's right behind us, and I'm really worried about it. I really am, but at this point, there's nothing I can do. Maybe a big win will help him sway, but I think at this point, we might be losing out on Kuberski, which really sucks. Ray Brewer is ours, dude. That is such a big one. Right guard, a 4-star into a 5-star. We got another one. We got the 5-star! Evan Kupersky, baby. We also got Steven Everett, another 4-star. We are getting a super good class together. And Malik Spencer gets the Big Ten Defensive Player of the Week. I actually have no idea if we won or not. But we did beat Iowa 27-9. Actually killed them. It's a big win going into number 2 Michigan here. Probably going to be a loss. I also went and looked and see if there's any more 4-stars that would be worth pursuing, and this is definitely one of them. Without any offers, I'm going to be really the first one to offer him, and I set the house, so we'll see if we can get any sort of lead on. Obviously, he's still in the top 10, so he's still got a long ways to go, but it's a 4-star D tackle. That would be a 5-star, so that would be really big. This is going to be an insanely tight race for Ebukam here, but we're probably not going to get him with these offers coming up. Not much has changed. Nobody committed over the week. Looks like we got decent leads on some players. Donnerson, we're probably falling behind on. I don't really know if I even need him for now, so I'm probably going to drop off of him. Obviously, since nobody committed, we didn't have a ton of hours to work with this week, but we got a little bit more scouting done and found 2 more gems in Corbin Lennon and Morgan Bryant. There is Devin Muhammad, a wide receiver. Now, we didn't super need a wide receiver, but this is a super, super big pickup. Another 4-star, and that's the only one we're going to get this week. And unfortunately, we got locked out of Alfonso Donnerson, our other quarterback we were going after. So, Aiden Childs with 5 touchdowns and 363 yards. Let's go, Aiden Childs. Obviously, a big week. Unfortunately, because we got kind of screwed out of the visit, we're most likely not going to be getting Ebukam here. So we're actually going to remove him from the board. Still in the race for Tevin Teal here, but not confident that we'll get him. We'll have to see what happens. Teddy Rabb might commit this week. We'll have to see, but I am very confident we're going to get him. Johnny Cooper, it looks like we could be losing out on, but we actually have our visit this week. So I'm hoping this week's visit does something. Obviously, if not, we could be losing him this week, which really, really sucks. D-tackles, we might be looking really, really good. I know it's early, but on Ralph Campbell, no one else has offered or really done anything on him. He's a 4-star gem. In the race for some of these other guys, but we don't need too bad. We got Morgan Bryant, where I just put some time into him after offering him, so we might be able to get this guy. There's Teddy Robb. We called it another halfback, so that's going to fill out our halfbacks. And it looks like we did lose out on Johnny Cooper here. We were right. Looks like we gained a good amount there. We're in second place for Donahue, which I guess we can continue to pursue. Looks like we could end up getting both of these D tackles, which once again, unfortunately, we did lose out on a couple recruits here. We didn't get any commitments. We lost on this tight end. That was pretty stoked about, but kind of figured. The big one here is that there's a big flip here to Michigan. And a very good lead for Bryant here and a very good lead for Stabler. I've never pumped anything into this dude, and we're still way ahead, so we're definitely going to get this tight end, so I'm not too worried about losing the other one. This free safety is also a star. We haven't put any time into him, but we do need a free safety, so I am going to send the house on this. And with the only offer, hopefully that'll bring us up, and we have a good chance of getting Raheem Nunn. We also put in just another offer for a 2-star quarterback just to kind of fill out. There's like no 3-stars even left. So we'll see if we can get him. Maybe we put a few hours into him. I believe this Judovsky guy is a center. I know it says an athlete, so I think he's a center, I believe, from what I remember. We put a few more hours in, like I said, this quarterback here. We found this other guy. There is Colin Raynaud. Perfect, our only commit of the week. And, of course, we're going to lose out on Tevin Teal. Definitely unfortunate. Another loss for the team. We're 3-8 heading into our final game against Rutgers. With a loss against Rutgers, unfortunately, we go 3-9. It's about what I expected. We do not have a good team. We're going to be losing a lot of players, but we're going to hopefully have a pretty good recruiting class here. Our only wins came against Boston College, who was ranked. I think that's now they would be ranked then. I don't think it's updated. Michigan was a close game. We beat Iowa, and we beat Indiana with some big wins. Aiden Childs ended the season with 26 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, 2,700 yards. Tommy Schuster looks like he played a few snaps. Nate Carter, 812 yards, only 5 touchdowns. Receiving, Nick Marsh, the freshman. He's going to be so good. 800 yards with 50 receptions, 9 touchdowns in his freshman year. Montori Foster, Jack Velling had a pretty decent year as well, 9 touchdowns, but he'll probably be transferring out, as well as Aiden Childs and some of these other guys. We're going to have a definitely tough offseason with a lot of guys leaving. Let's go check on our recruiting. There is Alani Stabler, a receiver, a sophomore receiver from Texas Tech. Coy Eakin, 92 receptions, 1,400 yards, 29 touchdowns. He just scored more touchdowns than Aiden Childs. Ralph Campbell, D-tackle, the 4-star. We got him. And just to go through a few people that are leaving, Aiden Childs, as we suspected, is gone. None of these have any persuasion chance. There's obviously a lot of different things. Got to think we're also losing Miller, Montori Foster, Gross. We're losing our kicker, which I probably should have figured that out. We probably need a kicker now. Now, because of the way that I went through and did things, really focusing on some of the higher starred players, we do only have 13 players officially signed. Now, there's still a chance for others. Walt Donahue, we are still in the lead for. Obviously, now that we're in the offseason for the next season, we are going to have to do more recruiting and put more hours into him, but we are in the lead for Walt Donahue. Some of the players that I was really pumped about trying to get are now locked out and have deal breakers with Coach Prestige because we had such a bad season. We're going to lose out on this middle linebacker, which I was super pumped about. We were just about to get him. We're still in the lead for this free safety, this edge rusher. We're going to lose out on this other center, which really sucks. I wanted this guy too. We're in the lead for Lonnie Gold, a strong safety, Ladarius Carden. We are not going to get this right guard, which is not good because we are losing. We actually lost out on that 4-star right guard, which means we're definitely going to need another one. We are not going to get Thomas Ventura. I haven't put any hours into him either. We can also look into the transfer portal as well, and we actually have a pretty decent couple options. We should actually have a quarterback with some interest, but the main one that I'm looking at here is Sonny Styles. It looks like he might be the 8th best transfer portal player. He's actually number 1 on the list right now. He was at Ohio State, and we just lost Jordan Hall. This is going to be huge if we're able to get him. There is the 4-star strong safety, Walt Donahue. It took long enough. There's Barry Lindsay, a right end. There's Alani Gold, the tight end. And unfortunately, we did not get that good linebacker. I didn't think we would. He was first for a while, though, so that kind of sucks. As the hours are up, let's go through our first official recruiting class. I want to go through each and every player. We got 33 players signed. Jamerson Simons, a 4-star gem, elusive back, athletic player, was one of my favorite gets here. Charles Matthews, a right end power rusher, a 4-star gem. BJ Hepburn is most likely going to be our starting quarterback next season. We'll have to see. He's a 3-star gem. We'll see where he's going to be at, but BJ Hepburn was our big quarterback get. Not the best, but not terrible either. Frederick Spitz was a 3-star that we got a little bit earlier, just another right end. We got Ray Brewer, a right guard gem. Super pumped about that one. Obviously, the most important get of the class, the very best player in the entire recruiting class, Evan Kupersky, defensive tackle. Our defensive tackles are absolute studs. You'll see more of them here. We got a 4-star right outside linebacker, Steven Everett. Devin Muhammad is a 4-star, I would imagine, receiver, I believe, was Devin Muhammad. So we didn't really need one too bad, but very, very good get there. Teddy Rabb, another running back we got there, a 3-star gem. We got Colin Raynaud, a 3-star defensive tackle. A 3-star gem, Alani Stabler, run stopper right end. Another defensive tackle, a 4-star gem in Ralph Campbell. This was a super, super big get. We signed Jay Mannion, a 2-star. I don't think we had many 2-stars, obviously. We needed another quarterback, and I kind of waited too long and didn't get some of the other ones that I wanted. The super late, really good get was Walt Donahue, a 4-star strong safety that we needed pretty badly. That was a huge get. Barry Lindsay, a power rusher, another end there, an athletic build. Alani Gold, a tight end, 3-star gem. DeMarcus Grubb, another quarterback. So we did sign 3 quarterbacks in this class. A 2-star gem, Evan Hawkins, left end. 3-star gem, free safety, hybrid Raheem Nunn. We got Ladarius Carden, a strong safety, 3-star gem. Thomas Ventura, a tight end, 3 stars. Another 3-star D-tackle in Samuel Coward. Leo Jewell, a middle linebacker, 3-star. I was pissed we missed out on the other one, but we actually got a kicker, a Fitu Potoe. We needed the kicker after Kim left, so that was big. Deontay Flynn, another running back since we needed some with some of our other backups leaving. And then pretty much the rest of these, we're trying to fill out the offensive line and some other things. We got Rashad Wilson, 2-star left guard, a 2-star center, and Zeke Bad News. A 3-star gem, agile. I don't actually know what exactly position this guy is. A 2-star Tavares Ryder, left tackle. 2-star right tackle, Matt Wire. Shane Humphreys, a right outside linebacker, 2-star. A 2-star tight end. and a 3-star, actually red gem, John Pakolak. I needed another free safety. This was kind of one of my last gets, and that is what we're going to end the recruiting class at. We ended up with the 16th best class, actually, so pretty good. Obviously, the 2 stars is not the best. I definitely could have done better. Recruiting-wise, I kind of got locked out of some players and didn't get super lucky. I put a lot of eggs into the 4 stars, and I only got 7 of them. I thought I was going to get more, but I didn't get as many as really I probably thought I would. So next year when we recruit, we probably want to tone down the 4-star recruiting and try to make sure we get some really good 3 stars. We had to settle for a bunch of 2 stars, and as you can see, none of these top programs went for any of them. Obviously, that might be more like just like recruiting-wise and maybe more just kind of how it happened. So I ended up having to settle for a lot of 2 stars, which is not great. So I think trying to settle for a few more of the 3 stars earlier is going to be beneficial, but I'm still pretty happy with the class we got. 16th best class is really, really going to help us. So that's going to be the first episode, guys, of this Dynasty rebuild. Obviously, not a great year for the team. We got a good class. It could have been better, so the next episode, we'll get a better class. We'll see how bad the team is, but we'll see how good we can rebuild. We'll see what happens. This could be horrible. I might have done a horrible job, and those watching can tell me in the comments. But anyways, guys, thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I hope to see you guys for the next episode. Go green.